She Came to Me, latest film from Rebecca Miller, who amongst other things did The Ballad of Jack and Rose, the weird Daniel Day-Lewis movie some years ago. This one stars Peter Dinklage, Anne Hathaway and Marisa Tomei and came out a couple months ago. I missed it during its original theatrical run and caught up to it now. The movie was marketed as a romantic comedy, but is really more of a strange melodrama with comedic elements in it. It's also a case of false advertising, I think, because the marketing pretended it's a movie about these three main characters, where in reality it's kind of like two different films squashed together that really only interact in the final act. But until then, we just switch back and forth between two storylines, and the one absent from the trailers is definitely one which is more boring and uninteresting. So the better storyline focuses on Dinklage, who plays an opera writer out of New York, living an sort of unhappy life, unhappy marriage with Anne Hathaway's character. He's also struggling with writer's block. He then randomly meets and sleeps with Marisa Tomei's tugboat captain, in which is what's supposed to be a one-night stand. And she's got a history of stalking, and then he turns her character and her story into his new opera, and things become problematic. And then the second storyline is about his stepson, who has a girlfriend, and it's this young romantic love, and they have sex, and then the parents find out, her parents find out. And because he's 18, he's just turned 18, and she's still 16, they consider it rape and want to go to court. So while the first storyline shows some promise, largely based on the charisma of the leads and the Woody Allen-esque premise of a tortured New York artist tangled in a romantic conundrum, unfortunately the second one really drags the movie down completely. Now, not only the actors are much worse, the writing is straight up boring. Storyline feels like a strange, clunky revamp of Romeo and Juliet, and it also just feels like it takes up the runtime. Every time we'd see these characters again, I could only think to myself, can we please go back to Dinklage now, please? Worst thing is, because logistically this subplot takes so much of the movie's runtime, half of it essentially, it makes the other, more interesting storyline sort of fall to the sideline. It makes it feel undercooked because we simply don't spend enough time to develop it properly. It feels like it is half of a film. So all the epiphanies and character changes towards the end feel a bit sudden and unearned. I will also say that the movie is strange tonally speaking. It's sort of as if it's trying to be a quirky comedy, but feels more like a drama, just with insane, wacky characters. I think it treats itself a bit too seriously. So, yeah, I didn't like it much, as you probably could have guessed by now. I just think it's disappointing and weird and kind of boring.